Previously on A Love That Lingered, for months letters had flown back and forth between Grace and Arthur, ink becoming a bridge between hearts. They learned each other's fears and fondest memories, trading confidences under the quiet privacy of parchment. Grace's sisters teased her at first, but slowly even they saw it. Their youngest was changing, her girlish daydreams giving way to something real. This is episode 9, An Invitation of the Heart. It was a crisp autumn morning when Arthur Caldwell stepped down from his carriage, the gravel crunching beneath polished boots. The Everly estate loomed before him, its dark stone facade warmed by the amber sun. A scarf of deep green, Caldwell colors, was looped neatly at his throat. But despite the sharp tailoring, there was an unshakable softness in his eyes. Inside the manor, Grace sat at the breakfast table with Martha and Sophia, feigning interest in her tea as her sisters traded knowing glances. Their butler's announcement, "Lord Caldwell has arrived," sent a ripple through the room. Grace's teacup clinked against its saucer, her mind racing. He hadn't written of any visit. Arthur wasn't here to see her, not yet. Instead, he was escorted to the drawing room, where Lord and Lady Everly awaited him. The room smelled faintly of lavender polish and old books, and the fire cast a mellow glow over the conversation that was about to begin. Grace and her sisters crept as far as they dared, down the hall behind the half-closed doors of the library, straining to catch a word. But the voices were low and steady, polite enough to be maddening. The stakes were unspoken, but heavy in the air. Arthur had come with a purpose, and whatever it was, it could change the shape of Grace's future entirely. Arthur began with gratitude, thanking Lord and Lady Everly not only for their hospitality that day, but for raising a daughter whose kindness had reached even a man who thought himself beyond such comforts. He spoke of the evening months ago when Grace had sat with him in quiet companionship, easing a loneliness he had scarcely admitted to himself. Then, with measured honesty, he laid out his request, not for her hand, but for her company. "I would like," Arthur said, voice even but earnest, "for Grace to come to Caldwell Manor, not alone, but with my mother. The house is too empty, and I would wish for her presence not as an obligation, but as a shared hope. We are young still. There is time to learn if our hearts truly mean to travel the same road." Bernard Everly studied him for a long moment, one brow raised in the way of a man weighing the worth of another. Lillian Everly, her hands folded in her lap, considered not the title nor the estate, but the boy before her, the sincerity in his eyes, the restraint in his words. "And you do not ask to wed now?" Lord Everly pressed. Arthur shook his head. "I ask for the chance to see if what we have begun will flourish when tested by time and nearness. I would not rob her of her youth, nor your household of her entirely." The parents exchanged glances. The formality of the moment did little to mask the gravity of the decision. After a pause, Lord Everly leaned back in his chair. "We will speak with Grace. The choice will be hers." Behind the library door, Grace's heart beat like a startled bird. Her sister's eyes glittered with silent excitement. But Grace's thoughts were a jumble, equal parts wonder, fear, and a swelling warmth she couldn't quite name. When her parents found her in the sitting room, they didn't draw out the moment. Her father told her plainly what Arthur had proposed. Her first reaction was surprise. Arthur could have asked for more, for everything, and yet he hadn't. That restraint touched her more deeply than any bold declaration might have. Her mother added gently, "We will not decide for you, Grace. If you go, it is because you wish it." The room fell quiet. She thought of their letters, of the way Arthur's words seemed to reach straight into her chest and stir something delicate but certain. She thought of the manor she had only barely seen, and the thought of him waiting there, not demanding, only hoping. Finally, she nodded. "I'll go." Her sisters burst into delighted whispers the moment their parents left the room, but Grace could only smile faintly, her mind already spinning ahead to the moment she would tell Arthur herself. Arthur was summoned back into the drawing room, unaware of the decision just made. When Grace stepped through the doorway, her heart gave a curious lurch at the way he stood, formal, yet with the smallest flicker of anticipation in his gaze. "I would be glad," she told him, "to come to Caldwell Manor." For the first time that morning, Arthur's composure broke. A warm smile spread across his face, one that seemed to chase the shadows from his eyes. "Then," he said softly, "I will see to everything." As the carriage wheels rolled away from the Everley estate that afternoon, Arthur glanced back once, and Grace, watching from the window, felt the sudden breathless sense that her life had just shifted, even if she could not yet see where the road would lead.